Do you know what a witch looks like? You don't. Do you know what the devil looks like? You don't. And that's the point. Deception doesn't come dressed in obvious darkness. It comes looking like light, like someone trustworthy, kind, good, with a soft voice, or someone screaming on injustice that she herself did. Because if someone truly wanted to deceive, they would appear as the last person you'd ever suspect. All I know is I'm screaming for injustice because it really is. And it's up for all of you to discern. So how do you tell the difference between a genuinely good person and one who only appears to be good for a dark agenda? A truly good person doesn't need a label. They don't parade themselves around as good. And they understand their flaws and know that being good isn't about being perfect, but they try to be good enough. On the other hand, a deceptive person thrives on appearances. The more darkness that they hide, the more desperately they try to appear as beings of light. Remember that. That is why many of my gang stalkers claim to be people of light. But if you look closer, they are the ones labeling themselves, trying to force an identity onto others' perceptions. Forceful. This is no different from real witches sitting in church, diligently attending masses every Sunday. Pastors exposed for crimes in a community church, or the police heavy on corruption and gang stalking. And what else? Online prophets quoting scriptures while secretly participating in gang stalking. It's all a performance. One of the key accusations during my character assassination was that I was a witch. The whole ordeal was a karmic transference of a person who really is. When in truth, I was being attacked by a coven of witches. Let me give you an example. Today, someone was publicly talking about a prideful witch who supposedly ruined her own life, blaming this victim, lied and obsessed about another, and this prophet defended the accused victim as if she knew the full story. But here's the red flag. This wasn't even her story. It belonged to someone else. Anyone who makes content centered entirely on another person's life without being involved is a huge red flag. If you're going to accuse someone of wrongdoing or doing witchcraft, it better come from your direct experience. Like for example, if I accuse someone of witchcraft, it is because of a personal experience. Otherwise, if a story came from a third person, it's triangulation, taking sides in a narrative and vilifying someone else. I just wanted to insert this and would wanna emphasize this. Narcissists always recruit a third-party person to speak for them and to reinforce their false story. So this ties directly into the smear campaign against me. The claim that I was a jealous mistress, a liar, a witch. But in truth, if you know the whole story of my marriage, someone has always been sabotaging my relationships ever since. But then, this flipping of stories by these gang stalkers is an attempt to take something that didn't belong to them. And believe it or not, it's an essence. And that has something to do, if you assess the whole situation carefully, it looks like it has something to do with money and heavy corruption. You see that theft alone exposes the root of the jealousy. Stealing identity, claiming experiences that aren't theirs, or at least mirroring experiences that isn't theirs, and using others to echo lies about me. I'm not a witch. Even though I may come from a spiritually gifted bloodline, I don't use those gifts to harm. In fact, I am using it to expose the systems of corruption that shouldn't be existing in this world. I'm not the Jezebelic mistress. Yes, with my recklessness, I have been involved with people, but I didn't know their full situations. And in hindsight, if I became one and I didn't know, much of it feels like a setup, which is part of a larger gang stalking strategy. If you study the transition of their stories, they used to call the Jezebel as the karmic wife who won't let go of the divine masculine. Now, they transition their story to a mistress who is now destroying a marriage. You see, these inconsistencies are don't believe as a coincidence. That story, the one where a friend called me before all this began, it is true. And everything that is related in the situation, it is true. I only spoke the truth about what karmic, manipulative tarot readers were doing. In fact, I explained everything objectively using their own tarot readings and spoken lies to triangulate me into a third-party drama that they themselves created to target me. You see, just because this assassination has been covered doesn't mean it isn't real. Being hidden doesn't make it imaginary. If I were the jealous one, why would I be the target? But I understand someone out there was also claiming that they are being targeted by me. But where's the proof when all you have are people creating illusions for you that you were the victim? So why would they mirror my life and steal my essence if I was the one who was envious? Jealousy and obsession doesn't align with the truth of my situation. It aligns with the motives of those who orchestrated the attack. What people doesn't realize and see in this content are these components. If this is pointed at a villain that they're assassinating, 1, the element of antagonism. 2, the element of forceful narrative as a form of control. 3, the element of triangulation. And the third person, flying monkey, speaking on behalf of another when it's not even her story. And high level manipulation and deception. You see, timing is key when it comes to exposing deception, most especially covert deception. If these readings were released right as I began speaking my truth, it is no coincidence. That's a calculated move meant to twist the narrative, make me look like I'm lying or jealous. And it's classic damage control, a discrediting tactic used by this group of abusers to cover their track. Listen, you can no longer control the narrative, and the only power you have is the power I give you, of how much I let you slide.